Hey guys, Ash here again at Flight Sim Reviews, and today we're looking at the PMDG 737NGX for FSX, and we're looking at the Autoland portion of this aircraft. As you can see, I'm on the final star into KPDX. I have my HUD set for A3 arm, which is achieved through clicking through this menu, and then you go ahead and enter your elevation and runway length into the computer here. And that's primed. Also, what you want to do is check your initial reference page and check that the ILS frequency is set in both of your nav radios, 101.30, 101.30, and make sure you've selected a flap setting for the approach. After that's all set, you should receive an indication of the DME, distance measuring equipment, and your runway, and a VREF here showing you your flaps and your speed for the approach. At this point, we're about to turn back onto the localizer in 9 miles. KPDX is right there. I do have the spoilers deployed. Drag is required for this descent at this point to maintain the airspeed. It's a pretty steep descent on this star. And the aircraft is maintaining 180 knots. It's going to be looking for 165 knots at trail leg. Also, since I'm below 10,000 feet, my landing lights are on, and I will go ahead and switch my ignition system to continuous on the turbines and double check that the fasten seatbelt switches are on and that my landing altitude is correct for the field. The plane should start making its initial turn back towards the localizer. I'm going to go ahead and add some drag by lowering the gear. As you can hear, the sound set for the aircraft changes for the wind rushing around the gear, which is a really nice touch. I'm going to go ahead and set my auto brakes at this point. And now that we're in the initial turn, I'm going to give us 5 degrees of flaps.
2,500.
Also, I'm going to arm the VOR lock function for the localizer to capture the localizer for the glide slope. And you can hear the plane trimming itself for the flap settings change and the gear being down. And I'm going to go ahead and arm the approach once we're turned back around. And after the blazer waypoint here, I'm going to go ahead and hit the approach button and let the aircraft do an auto land. Once you can hit the approach button, you go ahead and arm autopilot A and B to arm the Autoland system. And go ahead and make sure you continue to bring your flaps down to the approach speed, and go ahead and do VREF plus 5, which would be 131 for our approach speed. You'll notice that all the lights other than the speed and the A and B command channels are off on the MCP. That is indicating that the only way to get out of the Autoland system is to commit to a go-around. They don't want pilots canceling it halfway down and trying to ham fly it. They just want you to go ahead and execute a go-around if that's the case. Alrighty, we're now in A3 mode for our landing on the HUD. The distance is 4.1, landing ILS. We're pitching down for 3 degrees for the glide slope. And our airspeed is 131 knots. As you can see, we have MCP speed set, VOR locked, and glide slopes locked, and then flare is armed. So once we get low enough here, we'll go ahead and enter the flare. You're also getting a pretty good look at the terrain radar at this point. Essentially, this vector here is showing where the aircraft will end up at its current speed, pitch, and inertial settings. Also, you want to make sure when you're performing an Autoland that your course is set to the correct heading, and don't tinker with it after you've initiated the Autoland, or it causes all kinds of problems with FSX. Also, this is our gauge as far as how high or low we are compared to the glide slope. The pink will be up or down depending on where the glide slope is in relation to the aircraft. Go ahead and give you an external view. So all that's required once we're wheels down is reverse thrust, and go ahead and begin manual braking at 80 knots.
100. 50.
As you can see, flare is enunciated here,
20.
and that the throttles are now at idle.
10.
Alrighty guys, the reverse thrusters are stowed, and I'm now manually braking the aircraft. And we'll go ahead and let it roll up to the next taxiway and disengage the autopilot. Otherwise it'll try and maintain center line on you. Shut down the auto brakes and go ahead and clean up the aircraft at this point. Anyways guys, I hope that gave you a really good look at the Autoland systems of this aircraft. As you can see, it's just a really nice looking aircraft at night. The strobes flashing against the ground, just the lighting package is superb. There's even kind of an effect of looking through the HUD where there's some discoloration on the runway, but if you lift it off, it's not there. Just, again, a fantastic product here from PMDG. So anyways, I hope that gave you a good look at the Autoland system and what you can expect if you want to try that on your own, if you own the product, or if you were to purchase the product, what that would be like. Anyways, I hope this was informative, and I hope you stay tuned for more flight sim reviews. Feel free to leave comments down below. or subscribe. I appreciate all my subscribers. I hope you stay tuned. Thanks again, guys.